Taeyoon that can get backline access and impact side lanes, as well as the Nico Pop Blossom engage angles, does feel pretty good. I just don't see how you get to a point where that scaling really comes on at all. So maybe like they forgot to kind of look behind and check. You know when you have like a cat or a dog following you, or you're walking with somebody but they're kind of on their phone, you kind of look over your shoulder to make sure that they're not going to miss the turn because you're kind of leading them to the restaurant or whatever. You gotta look back and make sure they're still there.
I used to have to do it every time I stepped up from my computer.
Cuzz is going to try to start these grubs up with some support from his top laner, as Prio.
Oh,
close.
It's going to be perfect. That locks it down. So KT will at least be able to get 2 of these. That one gets impatient, and so it might be KT being able to lock down all of them as Sponge. There's the public execution for perfect, and down goes Sponge. That's going to be a free 3 grubs and a kill to boot.
Gotta flash those. If you are CC'd by anything, it doesn't matter who you are, even Aatrox, you're dead. Yeah, on Nongshim's composition, if there are multiple members there, because everybody gotta flash
this was actually just Sponge getting caught by a seismic shove. Oh dear, speaking about getting caught, Pollu going to wish he had an extra chain in that anchor line there, and is just gonna die.
Okay, yeah, just a link too short.
Here at 11.5 minutes into the game.
Yeah, I think this is just going to be a free dragon here off of that exchange in the mid lane. Amy can shove this one extra wave in. Taeyoon probably could actually go get some of that, but at the end of the day, free dragon, early stages of the game when death timers aren't that long, can be a bit of an issue, so something to keep in mind here with this game state. Realm Warp, speaking of.
Yeah, how does KT get out of this? Well, maybe they just definitely don't. That's a decent way to do it, though, as Pollu has the depth charge, but still, he is very, very dead. Cuzz is making his way over, and BDD is there, but I just don't think they're going to be able to help, as this turret very, very low. Now the Weaver's Wall comes in. There's a Pop Blossom setup. They do find just Cuzz. Seismic Shove, though, throws him into the wall, and BDD is throwing so many rocks. Still he has to flash away, and Cuzz is dead. And the Arc of Ruin is almost the ruination of aiming there.
2,500 goldie, but where it is the issue.
Oh, there's a hook connecting onto Scout as BDD finishes his quest mid-battle. It's a bit cute. But not too much else is going to come of it. Scout still holding onto his flash. 1 item. That's good.
Aiming has control word advantage. Oh no, he has control word as well.
Oh dear. Well, Scout taking a little bit of damage here is Cuzz looking for an option here. Cease and desist onto Sponge. Let's see whether they can actually get the kill now, as Lehends in a little bit of trouble as well. Good sidestep there from Sponge, but he's still going to go down. That's a kill over to Aiming. That's good news for KT, as the Rift Herald has now spawned, and there's no jungler on the side of Nongshim.
This is the second example of their ability to pick working out here, and it's at a great timing right before this Herald for them to be able to start this one up. Lehends does have ultimate here. Scout has his in just a few seconds. I don't know really what angle he's going to be able to find. It's going to have to be Lehends that sets this up.
Let's see what they can conservative. Do. 8 seconds as there's the hook onto Lehends, but that is not the target they're looking for. Realm Warp is going to get interrupted as BDD looks for the angle there, but now Cuzz needs to get back here and actually smite this Rift Herald. Does actually manage to pick it up, grabs the eye, and out they go. So all in a day's work here for KT, nothing to see. Before, have a lot of good ways of just killing Taeyoon. And right now, they need to just kill Taeyoon.
I think they're planning on it.
That is the guy that they need to take down.
Teamfight Herald.
Yeah. Let's see whether he can make that one work, as the Pop Blossom not exactly doing too much here, but Lehends is able to buy a whole lot of space, and there is that soul point. They take down Lehends. Let's see whether this team fight is actually going to work out here, though, as Kingen goes into that front line. Scout is shoved back. Kingen running amok, but he is still just dead, and it's a double kill now for Aiming, trying to get back into Gold King status, and Shelly is still involved, just wandering around in this team fight.
Crystalline overgrowth on this turret.
Yeah, they're going to do a lot of work here, as the Seismic Shove is a little bit cute, but doesn't do too much of anything at all. Down will go perfect. That's another kill over to Taeyoon. It's Cuzz with that Bolt Breaker trying to get some work done, and now Taeyoon feels like it's his time to shine, but he goes down so low. The flash forward from BDD, looks for the kill. He has the barrier though, and Taeyoon flashes out of the way. Aiming is crazy, and he's just not crazy enough as Cuzz gets a big old shield, but he's still going to go down, and that is the ace. They needed to kill Taeyoon, and they did not kill Taeyoon.
And again, the turret is still active. It is still aggroed. And Aiming, he cannot actually take out this Yunara despite his best attempts here. And then BDD goes for the flash as well, looking for this play, and then he just presses barrier and says, no, I have items, you don't.
My God, that was ridiculous.
He just has enough mana as well to make that play work.
And I was looking at it, I was like, where was the public execution in that fight? Well, it just wasn't anywhere. On the Mirror Mana, he's now wandering back to lane. So at least he's now a real champion, right? Like he's got the 2-item spike that we often talk about. As Pollu moving over, Scout comes down. Here is the man drop from the Pantheon as depth charge comes on in. Lehends with the Pop Blossom connects it onto everyone as BDD gets a big old shield. Is going to be the first one to go down as Pollu taken out next. And Perfect, he's like, yeah, no, I'd prefer not to. Let's just get out of here. And look, he's not going to be allowed to.
Doesn't have flash for a few more seconds. I don't think it saves him anyways. Could just try to buy time. Yeah, you know, we talk about tempo vibes a lot.
Yeah.
We don't talk about tempo as much because it was an old caster buzzword that people really didn't like, so people stopped using it. In this play on the bottom side, KT think they have tempo. They absolutely do not. They're down on numbers. The rotation is way faster for Nongshim composition, but I think this Nautilus pick was really the one that we're going to be talking about the most. It just really gave too much agency in the lane and has not been able to find anything. After the scuttle expires here for KT, I think they're just going to have to watch it burn.
Well, they are trying to move into the area, but Perfect doesn't have teleport. He's walking up as fast as he can, but this Baron is just gone.
Sorry, they wish they could watch it burn.
Yeah, KT are a little bit too late as there's the delivery of the Pantheon and the Aatrox into the backline. Kingen buying so much space. He may go down, but I don't know whether it's going to be enough to actually save the fight here for KT. As aiming was frontlining and BDD is now alone trying to deal with this menace of a Nongshim composition. Taeyoon grabs a double. That is an ace in trade for just an Aatrox, and I think it is just time to go to a game 2. KT just rolled over here in game number 1.
Absolutely absurd. The impact this bottom lane had into the Nautilus.
Yeah.
I think we're probably going to see Ghost subbed in game 2, and part of that's Pollu's performance, but part of it is just because they just generally do that for some reason. Like, laugh at this idea.
Yeah, he's going to end the work.
I don't think this tells us anything about how the rest of the series is going to go. It does tell us, however, that with bot prio and KT opting to some interesting aggressive team fights early, especially that one in the river, you know, this comp isn't going to work. I just think we go back to the drawing board for game number 2. I think KT fans shouldn't think, well, this is going to be a 0-3 for us after this one, but certainly going to be a 0-1.
It's certainly that, as there's a Pop Blossom onto 2. Down goes BDD to start this one off, as I think Lehends, he's a man true to his word. He said that he was going to kill BDD. I think that one counts, even if he didn't get the last hit. As aiming trying to get a couple of kills back here, Cuzz does manage to take down the Inara, but like we said, there's plenty of carry left on this team, and it's a triple here for Scout. 6-1 and 13. Absolutely revolting.
Same scoreline.
Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous.
And it's, they finally got Taeyoon, but it's Taeyoon for Nexus Atlas.
Yeah, and it's not a trade that you really want to take here as KT. 7,000, by the way, was the Rebel Baron power play there.
Very good, and his Snarbar management is really strong. If it was almost anyone else, like if we're looking at Clear or Dudu here in this draft, I'm like, ooh, I don't know. This is a little bit too complex to pilot because look to potentially get some vision on this dragon. As on the top side of the map, Cuzz getting closer to level 6, but doesn't have it yet.
Oh dear. Ghost is just dead.
But why?
Well, I don't have the answer for you there, Wolf. I'm sorry. But he is dead. I do know that. First blood, over to Sponge.
Well, I thought, you know, Sponge is doing...
Cuzz was able to take the blue buff from Nongshim. That was what was spawning. It's probably... Okay, there's an Emperor's Divide onto Scout. Shockwave, not quite working, but it is still going to be Scout escaping, not having to use the flash that wasn't quite up and available just yet.
But he still wants to make something happen down here. BDD is nowhere near.
Yeah, aiming is going to Arcane Shift. Ghost does at least manage to pull Sponge away, but he is still very dead. That is 2 on the floor for the
Neither are looking like a strong option right now. And I want to give Ghost a lot of credit because he grinded super hard to earn his spot on this roster. It was kind of handpicked by BDD to join anyways, but Lehends is a legend, right?
Yeah.
MSI MB.
That's not going to get them a dragon. And that is just Scout throwing out an ulti to make sure that they're going to be able to lock up the objective. Beautifully done. I guess Lehends' hostile takeover as well, but
but you know, we're getting to a point where you start to wonder, is the advantage enough? Can KT stabilize here? The Goldie not that massive anymore as Ghost.
What are we doing here, my friend?
I think just not expecting the Gnar to be down here, but
Quite
still.
as much. Just a little bit of a shame there as Sponge Should be able to take this Rift Herald with not too much of a response here out of KT. And the last game looked like it was going horribly, but now, okay, got a little bit of an angle here as the Cyclone comes in. Fade's call as Taeyoon does go down to the bailout, and unfortunately not going to get bailed out at all. That is money over to the Wukong as Kingen, with this little bit of extra respite, should be able to grab first turret of the game.
Yeah, going to deny some CS here as well. It's a small win. It does help even out the gold quite a bit, but it went over to the Wukong, you know?
Momentarily. Aiming does get the transformation on his Muramana, so that 2-item spike does come through. This time, feeling a little bit better than in the last game, where he was looking for the same combination of items. As Ghost is just dead again, Shockwave going to come on through, and Scout going to lock up that one. Oh dear. Cuzz gets the smite though, so at least he'll take his blue buff.
Yeah, this is certainly...
The KT
certainly a bit of a support. Lehends had more friends. You know, it wasn't a 1v1 fighting game in this case, and Ghost was way out of position without flash.
Oh,
and this side lane, like I said, is not going well for the Renekton. They get the third dragon.
Oh,
maybe
handshake.
an angle? Maybe?
On cooldown as in goes Cuzz. They get the Fate's call out. And that means that Lehends is absolutely fine. And
long
they weren't
cooldown.
really fighting for anything.
Long cooldown. They got a long cooldown. They may lose this turret, but they got a long cooldown out of like 80 carry.
Oh, there's the flash. They pick up Taeyoon. No Fate's call or anything like that. They could have picked up Lehends as well, and that would have been another kill. As KT might even be able to follow this minion wave towards this inner turret at the same time. More plates going over.
I mean, this is starting to be a little bit of gold here. You know, I mean, aiming is starting to stack up an advantage in terms of items here. And if they just can kind of on repeat. I don't think so. And Kingen is 1,600 gold lead without really interacting. And plates are going to go down. He has Sterix and a BF sword. Like, he has a BF sword.
Yeah, this is a very, very scary nod. All right, there's a Shirelius to come on through. The handshake comes down as, oh dear, Taeyoon in so much trouble as he gets into that back line. Cuzz taking so much damage. There's a flash forward from Perfect, and there is no bailout for that. The Crocodile's gigantic, but 2 kills swiftly back here for Nongshim as aiming looks for Sponge and should be able to dive on top of him. It's Perfect that helps lock the target down. And KT finally doing something that we can put in the pros column.
It's the third time they killed Taeyoon in this game, and maybe it's the charm. It is going to be their first dragon of the game. And BD is just like, oh, here we go again. I guess I got to carry another one. As he finds another Emperor's Divide. The angle is good. And initially it looked like, okay, maybe they can't. Yeah, I'm not really scared right here. Not really worried. He flashes back. He's like, nah, it's still fine. I got my ult as aiming?
Aiming. Miss it.
Yeah, anyway, ultimately, I don't see it. I think that's just a free Baron.
Aiming giveth, aiming taketh away, I guess.
BDD is going to try to get some money on the bottom side of the map. That is all they can really ask for. It's not even really any jungle camps here. And BDD gets early last year, early this year. And I'm looking for him. And you know what? I think he found him.
Yeah, I'd say that he did. Sometimes
BD, I think, got the bottom turret. He got a plate as well. And Perfect's going to get another turret on the top side here. So that's keeping the money close, but these turrets a little bit more valuable that KT are starting to lose now.
Yeah, and there are 2 siege minions making their way forward as well. So that is a little bit scary. Aiming once again in his least favorite position on the map, a Sponge, taking a fair bit of damage, but there is a Shockwave going wide. Maybe an opportunity now for KT, but BDD is so incredibly low. The handshake connects. As now Cuzz, tagged by the Wind Becomes Lightning. As Kingen, like, how do they deal with this knock?
BDD had to flash. He does not really have a ward to TP to here.
Well, there's a teleport coming in from Nongshim. It's a lot of damage onto Lehends. The Fate's Call does come down to try and keep him safe. As Cuzz was spinning, has another charge, but isn't actually going to be using it just yet. As now Kingen moving back over towards this inhibitor turret. Looking a little worse for wear.
Taeyoon doesn't have flash. I think it's best to just play safe. Like, BDD is just going to say, you can have that turret. I'm just going to get as much money as I can.
Oh, perfect. Comes on over. Ghost tries to snare someone, but it's going to be this inner turret falling down. BDD
kind of feel like
the overgrowth, then this moves away.
This Baron was not as impactful in terms of getting behind that back line.
They're going to have to do it as quickly as possible because otherwise this Ocean Soul is going over to Nongshim. KT do move themselves forward. Cuzz down very low. There's a hostile takeover to buy that space, and with the Rend, it's pretty comfortably taken down, although that was a little bit dangerous. Still now, there is a Dragon Soul onto Nongshim. Slice and dice here from Perfect as the Crescent Guard not doing too much. But KT, can they actually get in to try and capitalize on these buttons that are now on cooldown? There is still a shockwave here for Scout. Keep your eye out for that one.
I mean, they have a range advantage with this Ezreal, and BDD does a lot of chip damage. But Nongshim is playing it well. They're just not allowing them to have that in. They're just going to push mid now, look for aiming again.
Yep, Kingen just doing what he loves, which is fighting aiming in the mid lane. Another concrete is going to come on down there. Set of steps, I guess, or is it just sort of a lump? I'm not entirely sure. As Kingen throwing stuff around. Scout goes golden, though, as there's the Cyclone to come into that back line. Perfect. Slice and dice and flashes out of the way as Sponge right over the wall and will be able to stop that Crocodile and take away the GA at the same time. Cuzz is just gone. He's gone somewhere else as Empress Divide is going to push Kingen into the enemy base. So this Gnar is dead, but I just don't know whether that's going to be enough for KT to actually find themselves a victory here. Still 3,000 in the hole.
They did not get any of the inhibitors still. So hard.
Pretty tricksy as this Wukong, so it could be a 50-50, but
they have the
Taeyoon's got the sticks. Exactly, yeah, the Rend is going to make it so difficult. But let's see whether BDD can find some magic as he's looking for a flank angle. Sponge goes in, they take down Ghost. But I don't know whether he is going to be a big problem in this fight as Kingen likely to go down as well. The flash forward from BDD aiming. He's going to be able to take that one down. True Shot Barrage gets into the back line, but now the flash forward from Taeyoon. He's got a bailout in a dream. The bailout wears out, but it does not matter because they haven't killed him just yet. And now BDD gets hand shook and cannot do anything. He'll take down Lehends, but Lehends returns the favor. And Nongshim are looking at match point here in Super Week.
I don't think BDD could have done more in that fight, but I just don't think it was a winnable one. Look at the setup here.
Like Baron for Nongshim. That gold lead really starting to become a real one as it moves to 5,000. There is still, you know, the Elder Flip meme. That could be a thing that you'd have to worry about, but the problem is, for KT, there's a Rend. So it's always skewed, even if Smite is mega buffed at the moment. The combination of Rend and Smite coming out from Sponge and Taeyoon, if they coordinate correctly, just shouldn't be something that KT can fight against. And they're going to lose a lot of their base at the same time. Second inhibitor turret to go down, as there's only so many Sun Discs that BDD can put up. Cuzz, wind becomes lightning. There is an orb going on over towards BDD, as Taeyoon pops over towards aiming, but he does have an arcane shift, so he should be all right. The inhibitor, not so much, as that's going to be taken out.
I mean, if there's an angle for BDD, okay,
oh, there's the flash in from Cuzz as he looks for the Cyclone. Hostile takeover comes down, doesn't get a lot of value there, as Taeyoon's got the bailout and no one's really found him. Empress Divide not doing too much, but it is holding them on the other side. Crescent Guard from Sponge, sorry, just to keep him alive. That's the best looking team fight KT have done all game.
I think that's the best they could have hoped for. The only other thing they could have done would have been to try to TP flank with BDD, but if he gets pushed on, they just die, and it's still, like, again, best team fight they could have hoped for, still not enough to stop two inhibitors from going down. Massive 2 waves, maybe even more, crashing there to the top side, and Elder is up.
Yeah, there is this big ol' Elder problem that they're looking for. Handshake and a miss onto the Crocodilian.
Like, Scout can TP to end even if this goes awry. He has to get out first.
Cuzz needs to survive. That would be a good thing. Does get a big old shield. Doesn't have flash and just says, nah, we're not going to fight for the Elder.
Like, literally just TP to end. Scout's like, all right, well, it's over. GG. And KT are trying to run home.
I don't know whether they can make it home. Scout should be able to clear out this wave.
Where can I press R? I really want to hit multiple targets.
Yeah. Ghost is going to be able to snare Scout as Shockwave collects both of the monkeys. Cuzz is going to survive those, surprisingly, and might be able to make it back to his fountain. The problem is, if they're on their fountain, they are not defending their Nexus. First Nexus turret is going to go down. Nongshim looking for the second as Taeyoon just bounces behind the Nexus. And Perfect might be able to take down at least 1 or 2 of them, but I think the Dragon is going to come from the heavens to take him out after that Guardian Angel serves its purpose. And all right, Empress Divide is going to throw back Taeyoon, but there is only a Sundis there. Taeyoon had the bailout, so he's just fine. Picks up a double and will pick up the Nexus as well. There's match point for Nongshim and a 3.
This draft, I don't really want any part of. It's so situational. You got to hit the charms. The Blitzcrank has to hit the hooks. Zahin's early game is pretty weak. The Mundo is also pretty low impact early on. Yeah, the Nongshim time is a little bit less interesting.
Cuzz is on a phone call. Scout is dead! Solo kill for BDD in the mid lane. He took Ignite! We didn't even talk about it!
I did not even notice that.
Oh my goodness, incredible players. Now Ghost is in the fog of war, but I don't think he has his hook. He does have his hook available. Cuzz just wandering away though. Looks like
always
Spun
has value later on.
All right, hooking and connect onto Lehends. He gets Gravitimed as well. Does have to heal. And aiming, looking for a little bit more. Taeyoon just going to try and dissuade him from doing too much more here as Ghost. Looking a little bit more healthy as the zap is going to connect. And Taeyoon's looking for this, a knock-up. And it's not quite enough as Ghost. He might be going down as well. It's another disaster for KT in the bottom lane. On the map right now, BDD still holds on to that one, and that will mean that KT has a slight advantage. But, I mean, it's just the same story here in this bottom lane. And this is not a lane that's, oh, we just want to be able to win the lane phase. Remind him about. And so BDD, being annoyed, decides to just smash Scout in lane, solo kill him, and get even more. It's okay. Sponge finds the angle, and that's a very dead aiming. This is what happens when you don't have very much mobility on your AD carry, and there's a malfight. As remember, Ghost could have played Thresh. As Taeyoon flashed, wasn't actually able to lock down the kill.
Could have also taken the Lulu instead of the Aphelios and tried to do a few other different things. Like, there's a little more flexibility there. They picked Aphelios into Malphite as well, mind you.
That did
bloodthirsty back and forth. Anything could happen, but yes, BDD is massively ahead, but I don't know if that's necessarily going to be enough. He's already
another charm, and down will go Scout. Another Spirit Rush, and he just takes him down. Back-to-back solo kills. BDD does not want to go home.
I'm being a bit facetious again here, but he just doesn't miss these charms.
Oh,
and like Scout keeps trying to hands check him with his with the unbind, and
he even ulted as well. I didn't even see that Scout last time around. Let's see whether he can actually go for a little bit of a 50-50 on this dragon. Ghost just bleeding health here, as it is just going to be the steal. Cuzz goes where he pleases on this Mondo, as there is the engage. Scout follows up as BDD is going to get taken down, but Taeyoon's dead as well. It's a double for aiming, and finally the KT bottom lane does something.
And,
that's another
the other argument, but
you are Ari though, and you have a decent amount of movement speed. As hook onto the rock as Cuzz, let's see whether he can slow him down enough. Of course the charm lands as BDD takes down the Malphite with some true damage onto the rock.
Let's be honest, and because Sponge is here, and get more.
Oh, hook is going to connect onto Taeyoon. Let's see whether the tower gets angry as we pause.
Whoa.
That is no weird time to pause. All right. We can adjudicate the situation here as we can see the bottom turret. Let's see how it does go as Ghost the first one to go down because largely immovable. Taeyoon now trying to kite this one out as BDD in a little bit of trouble, but there's the briefcase and the finish comes in. All the essences come down and aiming even gets himself a kill onto his former support.
Really would like to lane against Perfect instead, but he will not.
Well, Perfect just going to take down this outer turret on the bottom side. Zahin is, like, in games like this, I feel like Zahin is so incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
When he's just not the main character.
When he's not,
he gets
when no one
turn up at 40 minutes and just do ridiculous
Exactly.
things.
He's a scaling top.
Whoa, we flashed on top of aiming. The hook is going to come down onto the Malphite, and he'll tank up the turret forever and be fine.
Aiming does not have flash, so
the peeling power of a Blitzcrank on full display there, ladies and gentlemen.
He tried stacking, that was the problem. Now he's turned his Giant's belt into a shield belt. Haha! And BD is just taking this turret and Monari, but so strong in this type of scenario.
And this combination, it's what Orcs was talking about yesterday. The combination, or not yesterday, the day before.
On a recent day.
Yeah, you get to just like have loads and loads of movement speed, which is kind of nice for the Ari that wants to reposition to get charms.
With Cloud Soul on the way?
Well, now just going to be ulting towards Scout here. Misses a whole bunch of buttons though. And
because I think this composition is very reliant on the Yone being able to ult people if Nongshim are going to win. And Mundo's becoming a very, very large health bar that will be an immovable object. And
flanking Taeyoon teleport. Kingen's trying to come on down as Taeyoon. He's ghosted. Ghost is running. Okay, there's a charm onto Kingen, who takes so much damage. Cuzz in such an awkward spot, though. The all-out flies on forward, and they take out the Mondo. Sponge finds the ultimate aiming, sidesteps it, and they will be able to wipe him out. Now you've got the Zahin finding the Grim Deliverance as Taeyoon basically out of the fight, but Scout gets in there. Down goes Ghost, but Perfect's now popping up. The flash forward from BDD, and Kingen bites the the dust. Flash away there from the rest of Nongshim. And KT just looking a little bit too large in this game as Aiming still alive and will be able to wipe out this turret. Is there any more fight in Nongshim? That's going to be the question as Taeyoon is still alive and lands the zap onto Aiming. Just don't think it's quite going to be enough here. Now another one team fight here for KT.
Crazy that Taeyoon got caught by Perfect's knock up there. You have to be very careful. You have to choose your battles correctly. BD has done a great job of it so far. But I do wonder, like, there's a lot of variance in this.
Oh, can Ghost find the hook this time? No, he cannot. Perfect on a flank angle is now looking a little bit uncomfortable as Grim Deliverance comes down, gets a bunch of his health bar back. He will be respawning as Sponge tries to get out with the ulti and looks a little bit weird for it as Aiming's over the wall, finds the Orbit Deception, but there's the ulti out of Scout. Perfect gets a bunch of damage, and Taeyoon's still alive for a very long time, but finally goes down to Aiming. And Nongshim lose their bottom lane, but at least they killed Perfect.
Yeah, they killed Perfect.
Better so far, even if there has been some of the comical moments, like, you are, in the end, the one hook that wins you the fight. As there's another one, picks out the Jinx, and Aiming puts her in the blender. The 1-2 punches, the rest of KT have closed in. There's the pullback as well, as Perfect is trying to keep them interested. Down goes the Cassante. He's durable, but just not durable enough, as KT will augment their Cloud Soul with a Baron.
He finds another one, threads the needle. Cannot be getting hooked as the AD carry. Ask Aiming.
Yeah.
He's glad to have the Blitzcrank on this side. On his side this time is...
Oh, Ghost was expecting Sponge to try and get out of there, and he didn't. And now he's charmed, and I think he may be dead. Aiming going to be picking that one up. That's the jungler dead, ladies and gentlemen. However, no one was going to get to this Baron pit, and this game, ladies and gentlemen...
Like, Nongshim are just 100% no way to do anything with the AD carry blowing up instantly. Scout is not a threat. The Malphite is... you know, deceptively not tanky, because that's just kind of how it goes, especially into a Fed Aphelios. So he dies in the jungle.
BDD has found Scout again, and Scout does manage to ult his way out, but BDD is Ari, and has Cloud Soul, as well as a Cosmic Drive and a Blackfire Torch. You are not escaping!
It also just makes Charm look like a targeted build. And that was just Scout dying a fourth time here, trying to live up to BDD. Perfect on the flank.
Perfect doing his favorite thing, which is stand amongst the entire enemy team. Finds the double pullback and the Grim Deliverance. He stacked up the passive, so he is absolutely fine. They'll take down the rock as Kingen just trying to be the front line. Finds the knockback, but he's so incredibly dead. BDD finds the angle, and my God, Perfect is looking brilliant on this Zion.
I think Perfect might have found a new champ.
Yep, I think he has.
He might have found a viable.
Do you know what KT have found though, Wolf? This is the main thing. They found another game in this series. We didn't think that it was possible after the first two, but they have extended it out, and we are at least going to a game.
I think this is actually pretty perfect here. This Rek'Sai is really difficult.
Wait, does Rek'Sai have a backbone? I thought they were like a...
Is it an invertebrate?
Yeah, like, you know, it's all on the exoskeleton.
Well, in terms of...
He was.
That's what I'm saying. He likes that title a little bit more. Almost good.
All right, this dive is going to catch him this time around. He flashes, and the flag and drag brings in Sponge. First blood over to Taeyoon yet again as Cuzz walking on forward. Peacemaker does not connect, but Cuzz not going to find any joy either. It's just a swift kill.
Going over to Nongshim here. Flashless Lucian caught again.
And shoesless. That's one of the biggest problems, is the fact that he goes back and buys a Caulfields. As Cuzz gets into the pit, and he does have Leap Strike, but Ghost is going to stand beside the Jax. Let's see whether Cuzz can steal this one away as BDD dives in, looks for Lehends, and just blows up. Okay, that was not the big play that he was looking for there, as now Cuzz needs a friend to come on over. There's the Leap Strike, as Taeyoon does take a combo from Aiming. They should be able to secure this dragon in the end. Nongshim right back on the horse.
Yeah, unfortunately, BDD, who looks very angry on the player cast, was a potential flex, and this counter pick for it is not laning into it.
Oh, there's an engaged Braum angle. Let's see whether Ghost can find this one, as Lehends already down relatively low, looking to abyssally dive his way out, but the Relentless Pursuit is named correctly this time. They're going to turn their attention onto Taeyoon, who gets devoured. Cuzz dives on top, and it's Lehends that goes down. The double tap not actually going to be effective against Taeyoon there, but the one kill is all KT really wanted from that moment. There's some crystalline overgrowth going to get eaten by Kingen on the other side of the map. Not the cross map that they were looking for That's really nice. Shuriken backflip there from PDD. But not really going to find too much more. KT firing back finally.
Yeah, a very big win there on the bottom side. Kill goes over to the Jax, and so I think this is just going to be a bit of a freebie here, the second of the game for Nongshim.
Yeah, you can see. We know that the Jax is here, as they're looking for it. Taeyoon will get devoured once again, but the Abyssal Dive will be interrupted. He has the big old shield, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. Cataclysm is cataclysmic for Nongshim, unfortunately, as they do get the Drake, but they lose their entire bottom lane. Well, they lose half of the bottom lane and a jungler, and maybe just this bottom lane outer turret as well.
I guess they thought Cuzz was going to do the PDD exists.
Ah, dang it. Checkmate.
He existed a lot in game number 3.
The amount he existed in game 3 is very large. All right, Sponge, speaking of existing, makes his presence known as there's a teleport towards the bottom side for Kingen. Oh, this cask could be ridiculous onto aiming. Let's see whether he can keep himself safe as the flag and drag comes in, but down goes Sponge to start this one off as PDD. I think he heard me talking about the POM. He wants to find another one as Cuzz grabs that angle. Aiming still alive somehow as Kingen, I don't think he's going to be the same. It's a double for Cuzz on the Jax. And KT, I think they really wanted 5 games.
I think they may have just earned them. That was a massive win. And Kingen, he was waiting for a larger cask angle. He was like, oh, I don't think I need this to kill aiming. I think I'm going to be fine. And then he ends up getting a huge cask onto so many players, but I think actually it's the biggest party cask we've ever seen. It doesn't mean anything, it just hit a lot of people. A lot of people came to the cask party.
Yeah,
but,
that's the problem. If you share the keg with everyone, like no one really, no one's inebriated after that.
So
oh dear. Well, BDD. Oh, nice backflip, but I don't think it's quite going to be enough unless Ghost can help him out. He flashes out of the Cataclysm. Cuzz is making his way in, and BDD just wanders away. Not very scathed. I didn't want to say unscathed for some reason, I don't know why. Anyway, Scout is now going to get stunned up, but Sponge interrupts almost everything. Now aiming turns up, but so does Taeyoon. And he's going to be able to take out Cuzz. There's the ace in the hole onto Ghost. And now BDD is just teleported back in. Perfect! Just executes Taeyoon. He will not be forgotten as this top laner, as the Abyssal Dive was a bridge too far. And KT put them down again.
yeah, Nongshim doing a little bit of that, maybe lose, and potentially could be a 4 Ocean Rek'Sai as well.
And the problem is that it's Nongshim that have a fair bit of the more consistent damage in the fact.
Saying, I can't hurt you, but this turret can, so let me just hold you under it.
Yep. BDD has been avoiding a lot of things, but hasn't been hitting a whole lot of stuff either, as Scout, when he does get hit, takes a lot of damage. There is the taunt, as he does look for a little bit more. There's the ulti. BDD just wanted to finish him off, as a heroic entrance is going to be used more like an exit this time.
I'm not entirely sure what Scout thought was going to happen there. He's like, I'm going to taunt him and punch him, and he won't get hurt. And he has Electrocute, and he's going to hit me with his Gunblade.
Wow, that's a culling. Sorry, I interrupted you by...
No, it's okay. That was basically it. That's all he said. That was the end of the sentence. And
well, now Shelly is going to say, I'm going to get a headache. I don't like this. And she is, but the Crystalline Overgrowth will give this turret over to KT, extending that gold advantage to about 3,000. And at 20 minutes, that is not bad at all. Perfect here in this side lane. Still having a great time. Titanic Hydra now completed. Looking for that second one. Oftentimes it is Jack shows and things like the Spear of Sojin.
The item efficiency here for aiming is quite high for him to hit 3 relatively quickly here as the IE gets put together for Taeyoon. Done real fast, because he's not going to last very long, and they do not have a lot of damage.
All right, they're teleporting in, looking to try and get on top of this dragon. It has been started already because it's in the area. Scout's moving over. Now the team fight can be dangerous as Taeyoon is going to get tagged. Cuzz looking for the angle. They get the double stun as Taeyoon very far up towards Ghost is now perfect. Just dives on in. Gets the double knockup. Taeyoon is relatively safe for now as there are so many knockups and Taeyoon doesn't have enough bullets. It is ridiculous as the KT onslaught continues. Aiming can't even catch up as Cuzz is under an inner turret after all that is said and done.
Taeyoon trying to position incredibly well there. And KT do win the fight well enough here. Get the kill onto Scout to just back away and look to start this objective off. Well, I say that. He can actually do damage now.
And he can make rifts, which is cool.
That is very cool. So that's a small win. Kingen, there's not really anything going on for Kingen. He's not really hitting these spikes right now.
Well, he's got a Fimble
His
Windsor,
rod of
and
age is
he's
completed, so he's, despite being 2,000 gold behind, is even on levels.
nailed it. He's ahead on levels, Wolf. What are you talking? He's about to hit level 17.
Nice.
Position, and is an extraordinarily large Jax.
They could also just ignore this dragon and try to rush Baron, but they're going to fight it. They're going to force it.
Let's see whether Cuzz can get in here. He does actually just wander into the pit, and they look for the backline here. There's the Devour onto Taeyoon. Good knock up there as well, as Taeyoon's able to take down this Rek'Sai. He's one away from getting stunned, but he gets himself out. Never mind. Perfect execution from BDD. And now it's KT's turn to launch their salvo into Nongshim. Shuriken backflip is obviously going to land. And he looks for the 5-point strike as Lehends just barely able to make his way out. Leap strike onto Scout for Cuzz. And the dash forward isn't exactly what Aving was looking for as he flashes out of the way of the tongue lash to keep himself alive. Nongshim, they didn't finish off the Drake.
Is Ghost on Dragon with Smite? Yes.
Oh my god, he is.
Siege in your comp, you need that purple worm. Sponge does not have vision. He does have flash. He is Jarvan. You're going to have to deny him.
Well, let's see whether Ghost can do that. As he drags his way over, BDD is just going to play defense. As back into the pit he goes, and down goes the Baron. There's still a lot of damage on the Ghost, but into the backline goes perfect. He will get exhausted, but even if he goes down, it's still probably going to be worth to guarantee the Baron, although I don't know whether he necessarily needed to go in there. As Nongshim now chasing after KT. Scouts ghosted, and BDD will get into the Shroud, but I think he's still dead. Thrown around like a ragdoll, and that is going to be the Peacemaker making peace with BDD, who goes down. Two for Baron. I mean, I really hope that, I don't think they should have done Baron.
No, I really hope that KT don't take this the wrong way. But I think it was the way in which they decided to move off of Baron that cost them big in this one.
Nongshim now, they'll be able to push forward, grab this inner turret as well. I mean, look at the Baron power play. It's abysmal. And
it's actually bugged. It's even lower than that.
Oh dear, that's going to be an inhibitor turret as well. I mean, Nongshim are just continuing to push. Cuzz?
I told you guys Coach Comms could backfire. Happened to KT already earlier this season.
All right, 5 seconds on Perfect, as they will take this inhibitor.
I want the replay of the Baron, as Ghost is actually trying to deny the entry here. TP, as you say.
They're kind of broken up, as the teleport does come on forward. They spot Taeyoon and Lehends. They are kind of alone. Ghost is able to move himself over. And this is aiming. Oh god, that's not where you want to be. But the culling just destroys Sponge. And so it's jungler for AD carry, but they need to kill Taeyoon. If they don't kill Taeyoon, this is still lights out for KT. They get on top of him, but the Devour is going to be there. The Abyssal Dive gets him all the way out. It's a big taunt as well as Taeyoon. He's got the net, but the 5-point strike will destroy the Caitlyn. And Lehends just doesn't have the buttons left. He'll get knocked up, taken down, and they do get an inhibitor. But I think KT were able to strike back. And where's the Rebel Baron?
Heroics, my god. He sacrificed himself without doing a whole lot in the Baron exchange, but here, Taeyoon is like, thank god I have Tahm Kench. It's still not enough.
In the meantime, Cuzz is just dead. So there's one more Baron remaining, and Ghost's almost taken out as well.
Man, there's just no way KT lose this game, right?
Stop saying that, Wolf. It's just not, that's not fair. Almost has 6 items completed. They are just sieging. Perfect does make his way back, but without Cuzz, this is 4 versus 5. Oh, Shuriken backloop connects onto the priority target, but
Perfect
there
also
is a Devour there.
Kind of trying to make something happen here, but I think just letting them go is probably the better option in this case. Try to get onto this turret.
This KT comp is so incredibly all in that they, like, their counter siege just doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's so janky. Like, it doesn't actually do a whole lot unless it can get backline access. And Taeyoon is, like, remember what you said earlier about, like, if they just have infinity time, I guess, you know, Taeyoon will get there.
Just ghosted. So I'm a bit confused as to what's going on here. The Baron's up in 35 seconds time. We're not really fighting for too much right now, but it looks like both teams really want to fight. There's the culling. Lehends gets a back massage, but didn't really like it. As Perfect takes a lot of damage. That is a teleport that's very short. What is happening? The weirdest game ever. It's okay, yeah. Perfect taking a fair bit of damage, but KT now has a minion wave. They take down this inner turret as now Cuzz, with his counter strike, is able to walk up to them, but decides not to fully commit.
They're like, the only way we can siege is we get behind them.
Well, there's a cast. It's going to work out really nicely, but only onto the tanky members as BDD still biding his time. Engage! Braum launches forward and down goes Kingen to start this fight off. And now Ghost just tries to tag Taeyoon and he gets it! Down goes the Caitlyn and it's a double here for aiming. That setup was absolutely ridiculous, but in the end, KT with a team that came out ahead.
They're looking for that one minion. I think that's what Scout wanted to get, but there's still minions behind the rest of the team. Wanted to try to hold the wave. They will not be able to do so. That's GG. KT finally do it. It took a long time. They could not siege with the minions. They could not use the Baron to end the game, but getting all the way wrapped around behind Nongshim with the team fight siege, I guess that's the way to do it. That's it to 5.
Oh my goodness, cue up the silly version of Silver Scrapes as the Nexus goes.
And there's just not enough consistent damage in this draft here for KT to make me feel like this worked out. I think you either had to go Syndra plus a more scaling AD carry, a safer one, especially into the matchups like you feel really good about when you're playing into Aurora if you can hit everything. BD so far is doing just that.
Oh, well, Lehends and Taeyoon thought that they were playing aggressively, but now Cuzz is going to make his way down. Lehends, remember, does not have flash, so he's very, very dead. Unfortunately, the Twilight Refuge is not a refuge this time, and First Blood goes over
to try to, in part, and in large part, win the lane, but Lehends pulls his Shen outright, and despite the fact that we did see that kill back onto Lehends, so a significant CS advantage here early. They get first dragon out of the prio. And as a result of this, what does this misfortune do now in this draft as Ghost? What does he do when dead?
Yeah, well, he's going to see what he can do. Lehends is dead as well, so it's going to be supports traded. This time, Aiming picks himself up a kill, and it was unfortunately Lehends that got the kill on the bottom side. So Nongshim still a little bit worse.
Make sure that there's no rotation over from BDD. Just simply no play to be had here for KT.
Yeah, thankfully he's playing Rakan this time around, so isn't just going to be wandering around and then feeling a little bit silly. This time he's just going to get taunted. And there is a blast cone in. Battle Dance just kind of condemns Cuzz here momentarily. He does have paranoia. He presses the button, but unfortunately, he is just dead on transit.
Cuzz is like, Ghost, man.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to blame you, however, much like, you're like, yeah, luckily he's playing this champion, he's got his buttons, and he's not going to go back in. And then he does not have his buttons, and then promptly goes back towards the enemies.
Yeah, this is the problem. As it is
Control
a cloud.
vision is KT, as perfect as
he's
just
doing
going to
that
ignore
behind
the
turret thing again, as BDD tries to scatter them, flashes out of the way, as now the quickness comes forward, flash to get on top of Lehends, and I have a feeling he's dead. Yeah, Unleash Power does confirm that, as now Cuzz, picking his target, decides it's Scout that they want to take down. The Scout of the Week is pretty good, but he gets out with the Between Worlds, is now perfect. Does not care about that turret, even a little bit.
No. Find out.
Oh, they're going to try it. There's now BDD moving over. There is a train able to come on forward as Kingen could stand in front. He is going to be able to do so. BDD over the wall. It's not going to be the steal, so there's Soul Point. But the paranoia dives on in. There's the fear flash out from Taeyoon to keep himself safe. As KT still looking very healthy in this fight, but Nongshim, they can just back away. Yeah, they do not need to do anything else. They got the Soul Point. They're feeling good.
They got their prize, absolutely. And they also got Perfect's ultimate. And this turret actually pretty defendable as well.
Yeah, they told it purely for you.
You're right, yes, exactly. The Ghost was utilized correctly there.
He kind of wishes he still had it. It's all right, everyone comes in. The flash does come out of the way, but now Ghost comes on forward. Sponge is going to survive, and so does Lehends. Beautifully juggled, and down goes BDD.
Tricky when you don't have prio. So that mid-herald needs to be used to get the turret. They cannot fail this. They cannot some crazy ult angle to set up Aiming's ult. Like, that might be the only way they can get back in, it seems, at this stage. Or some sort of crazy flank from Perfect, a miracle.
All right, there's the paranoia. They dive in, they look for the angle onto Taeyoon, who gets a big old shield. They have so much CC, and finally the Scion gets in. Down goes the Kaiser, but the Misfortune's dead as well. Cuzz is taken out, and even though Perfect has a huge health bar, they just do not care about it. BDD was so far away from the fight, he hasn't even been able to ult anything yet. And
something happened. It would be now.
I mean, this is the timing where they get both the mid turret and get prio for Dragon with this Herald. I mean, they used it at the last possible second here to get the most value, but how do they utilize that prio is the question. Perfect trying to hold this entry here. They don't have a ton of damage for Dragon. Those are so tanky here in Season 26. or 16, whichever way you want to say it.
Moving up the river here, as Kingen going to join in as well. Scat of the week on to Lehends, but he doesn't really care about that one. Pillar goes down. Q not going to connect there from Perfect. Big health bar though. You can see this Sion. If they can actually play around Sion in the front line, then KT can get some work done.
Trying to zone Lehends away. His ult comes up in 5 seconds here, and then he will be able to go wherever he wants.
Scout, big angle here for the flank. Has a blast going to get himself into the back of the pit here at the same time.
Aiming, gotta be so careful.
Yeah. That is a nice double up there to get a bit of damage here onto Sponge. They look for a Paranoia. Flies in. That is going to be the steal away from Cuzz. Can they find more? Is the answer. As BDD is dead. Aiming's dead. Cuzz taken down. And Ghost and Perfect, the last man standing. Perfect, though, he's going to get run down, turned into a zombie. And even Ghost is likely to die. There it is. It's an ace in trade for just one Cloud Dragon. As Nongshim, I think they should be able to take
desperate situation in a series that matters very little for Nongshim. The better it is for me, baby. Like, we were watching the top side of that fight talking about the carries, while on the other side, Olaf, 1v4, absolutely yes.
That was disgusting.
Gets the Shen ult as well in the end. Like, Lehends didn't even need to use the Shen ult to kill the enemy AD carry. That was the last hurrah, the last chance. They got the dragon, but they lost everything else.
Scout of the week doesn't connect on to Scout, but they do dive on top of him. He goes golden. He's buying so much time and goes between the worlds. There is the unleashed power, but it's not enough damage. And the killer instinct from Taeyoon gets him into the backline and blows them up. Nongshim are looking to cancel this reverse sweep. They spend a little bit more time here today, but it's looking like it is not quite enough here from KT.
Not enough, and it looks like Scout's perfect record against BDD will continue. Nongshim with a final restart to the series. Bit of a hiccup near the midway point, but now poised to end it.
Well, here's the last hurrah. Oh my god, Aiming just gets obliterated. The Nexus turrets follow suit, and it took him a while, but Nongshim do it in the end, taking down KT.